first topic for everybody is going to be the game postponement against the Tennessee Titans. What was everybody's thoughts pertaining to, what took place in that situation? Like, I know that, but we're a week out of this thing when this thing first rolled out, but now I'm hearing information that some of the Titan players were out doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing, and they weren't following the COVID protocol procedures that was laid out for them. So, what are you guys' thoughts pertaining to them having to postpone the game? Do you think that was the best thing to do in this situation? And then also, with some of the information that is flying around now, should the Titans, should they have to, maybe forfeit the some of these games that it seems like they're not going to be able to play? I heard they have one coming up, I believe this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. What you guys' thoughts on this situation? I'm gonna start off with you, Jim.
Well, you know me. I believe you got to stay focused, man. This is a major pandemic. This is the first situation that's coming up. Listen, you got to play 16 games, no matter how long it takes. Look how long the NBA and the NHL had to wait to complete their season. I thought with only a couple, the Titans had got that number down last week, so I thought maybe the game might be played on Monday. But, hey, anything can happen. If the president of the United States can get COVID and 35 other people in the White House, anybody can get it, man. So, I don't think it's anything. Hey, I read what the NFL sent the Tennessee Titans, and I would have been confused too. I thought that they was only locked out of the facilities, but I thought they could practice elsewhere. And I even said on a few shows that they would be practicing elsewhere. I think where they got in trouble at was not the Wednesday practice, but they went ahead and practiced Friday after the NFL mandated on Thursday, told them that they could not assemble and practice anywhere. So that's where they're running into some issues.
What's your thoughts, Banger?
I'm sure everybody saw Bud Dupree's statement, I think today he made, where he said that the whole team's mind state right now is go to practice and go home. They're doing everything they can to try to not have the same issues over here in Pittsburgh. However, man, like my man just said, the president got it, and he's the most secure person in the nation. So at the end of the day, man, you have to be prepared for some realities. And man, I mean, we can hope for the best and hope the situation works out. Hopefully, our guys stay safe, but at the same time, be prepared for the fact that it ain't over yet.
And so with the whole situation, as far as with them postponing and moving, some of the games around and shuffling the season, do you think that was the right move, or do you think
it should have been a forfeit, bro?
It should have been a forfeit.
It should have been a forfeit.
Okay.
Either because look how they bowed down to New England and then Kansas City. Now, granted, that's a much higher caliber game. It's higher viewership or whatever. You got to get to face the NFL and the team and the franchise of the NFL. But at the same time, though, it's like, hey man, it is what it is. We're paying 13 weeks out now. But if justice were to happen in a hypothetical situation, it'd be great to see them have to forfeit and us get that extra bye week later on in the season instead of having to play 13 straight through. But it is what it is. Last time we had to do that, we won the Super Bowl. So I'm not tripping.
Yeah. Hey, that's a plus. That's a plus. Coming back to you with that, Jim. So as far as with that situation, do you believe it should have been a forfeit? And then also to touch on that a little bit deeper, with them having to, postpone the game, do you think that the league should work something out where some of these teams potentially maybe get an additional week, maybe some sort of an additional bye week that they were supposed to receive later in the season? I'm hearing some certain things about that right now. So what's your thoughts on that, Jim?
Well, I mean, Banger's Banger had some great comments. However, I don't believe in forfeits. You know, as a player, I would want to play. I want to play every single game I can play. But, you know, I can't argue with what he said. You know, you make the Titans forfeit. But I believe that we're going to be looking at 18, 19 weeks in the season. This is not going to be the only team that has it. I think they're going to extend the season a few additional weeks to make up for the games. You know, and if they only play 16 games, man, all of them are very, very important when it comes to the playoff picture. And now there's an extra wild card team. So I definitely think they're going to extend the season. So the Pittsburgh Steelers will be able to get their additional bye weeks. They probably got to watch other teams play for a couple extra weeks while they figure out the playoff picture and make up games. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's funny you brought that up because that's the one thing that's kind of bothered me about the NFL's approach to handling COVID is their lack of flexibility with the season. So for the schedule, where every other league, like you said, has been moving dates and, you know, whatever to accommodate. And it seems like the NFL, like for instance, I don't appreciate how we started with no preseason to get the men's bodies in football shape. So you see the injuries the league was plagued with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, why not start the season in October instead of September? Why does it have to be in September? You know, that's besides the point.
Good point.
So hopefully, like you said, that flexibility comes in the end because, like you said, all right, now Cam Newton got it. He may not be Patrick Mahomes, but he's on the Patriots. He's important to the NFL, and I guarantee you he wasn't being reckless. So if he got it, like you said, other teams are going to continue to get it, and there's going to have to be some type of flexibility if we're able to salvage the season.
Yeah, I actually heard that Stephon Gilmore, he just tested positive. I believe it was either yesterday or today.
Right, and he hugged Patrick Mahomes the night before.
Yeah. So that definitely could be something interesting coming up here.
And I'm hearing I heard he got it when he had dinner with Cam Newton. So Patrick Gilmore. So
I guess with Major League Baseball, you know, with them going into the different playoff series that they just entered into, they just exercised to use an option to go into you know, some sort of bubble type of setting for their playoff situation. Kind of, I guess, following the same guidelines as the NBA. What's your thoughts as far as with the NFL, like what they actually should do potentially coming up here in the future? I know it's going to get a little bit cold out here, especially in a lot of these cities, and football is not indoors. A lot of this stuff is outdoors. So, you know, what's your thoughts? Do you think, you know, maybe they should convert over to some type of bubble style setting, even if it's for maybe like the last quarter of the season, or even if it's entering into the playoffs? Like, what's your guys' thoughts? I'm gonna kick it back to you, Jim, so we can stay with you there. What do you think as far as you know, entering into a bubble for the playoffs?
Well, the whole problem with the NFL is they're the most arrogant organization in the world. You know, they think that they're bulletproof. But I'm very, very proud of just the low numbers so far that's been testing positive, because we all know when it comes to football players, one big button of smile can ruin the whole football team. So, you know, they're being dedicated right now. But, you know, when the playoff picture comes around, the problem with football is the numbers. You know, now you got extra practice squad guys. You already got 53 guys on the roster. You got 100 coaches and staff members and doctors. So you're putting about 100 people in a bubble per team. And but I think that, you know, during the playoff picture, you know, maybe that might be the right thing to do, because it's already proven with hockey and basketball that it's effective.
And what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts, Mayor?
I'm gonna have to agree with Jim. That's something he said, that the NFL is extremely arrogant, extremely. And the evidence is its approach to handling COVID in contrast to the other sports leagues. But I do think that the playoffs not only is it the best thing to do, I still think it's feasible. That's something they can actually make happen. They choose a playoff city, whether it's probably going to be a Florida or a California or something where, they have the space and the facilities. But, yeah, that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do because, hey, man, it ain't over.
Gotcha. All right, well, that's enough of that COVID talk, man. I think between like what's all going on and everything, man. To victory, to beating the Philadelphia Eagles coming up here in Week 5. One of the things that you just mentioned was, getting the wide receivers, out there in the mix and really putting on a show. We all know that it looks like Philadelphia does not have the best defense, coming in this week, and their secondary is extremely banged up. What do you feel like the keys to victory will be coming up here in Week 5, Banger?
I think it's really just going to be a matter of defense. Defense, I think they're going to be better. Their conditions have improved, and offense is just that natural progression we've been talking about all this time. That's all they have to do is keep playing their game, and I think we're going to take care of it.
What about you, Jim?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not as confident as Banger, but you can't let Carson Wentz get hot. Can't let him get hot. The guy is a better runner than most people's giving him credit for. He's a big boy. He got a big arm, but you got to stop the homecoming boys from having a great game. Miles Sanders, maybe one of the greatest running backs in southwestern Pennsylvania history. He's from a local school, Woodland Hills. I watched him play in high school and college. He can be unstoppable, and he's good out of the backfield. But let's not forget Deshaun Jackson, who grew up on the Hill District in Pittsburgh before he moved out to California. Deshaun Jackson's a nightmare for anybody in the secondary. He's still fast. He's still a weapon, and he's back healthy. And they got a little running back named Boston Scott. He's only about 5'7", 205 pounds, but he's good on kickoff returns. He backs up Miles Sanders, but he's explosive. We don't have anybody on the team that can cover tight ends, and Zach Ertz is one of the better tight ends in the National Football League. So we got to find a way when they get in the red zone to keep him out of the end zone. And defensively, their front seven's a nightmare. Fletcher Cox is as good as anybody in the league. Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham. Don't forget Javon Hargrave that used to play for the Steelers. And they got an all-pro defensive back they got from the Detroit Lions is playing great football right now, Darius Slay. So, hey, listen, I don't know why it never was a rivalry because it's an interstate game. Pittsburgh and Cleveland was always the rivalry, but we got to give Philly a little respect. They're in first place in their weak division, so we're playing a team that's in first place, 1-2-1. That tie against Cincinnati is big for them.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I think that that defensive line is just going to be a little bit too much for Philadelphia. They're busted up a little bit too much on that offensive line, and I feel like it's going to be hunting season all day, especially for Watt and for Dupree. It should be business as usual. I see the secondary actually potentially maybe even taking one to the house this game.
Have you noticed that Minka and Nelson's been real quiet?
Yeah, and that's why I say
and I love it. I love it because they're not throwing to them.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks aren't throwing to them.
Yeah,
they're horrified, and it's and that's why Dupree and Watt, like you said, are picking those quarterbacks off because Nelson and the whole backfield, man, they're doing their job, man. It's freeing up our linebackers to cause havoc. I don't know, man. I don't want to sound overly confident, but this feels like a special team right now. Even with all the little glitches. The glitches don't seem that serious to me. They just seem like the glitches literally feel nothing more than Ben hasn't played for a whole season. He's got to get the kinks out. and he's got new weapons. He's got to figure out. And besides that, I don't know, bro. I feel like we got a dangerous team right now.
I
Like
agree.
none of you
I
can
definitely agree.
tell me that in your minds that we don't have a chance to actually go to the Super Bowl. All of us are believers. There's been times when we weren't. There's been times when we looked at teams and said, like, nah, this early in, like, nah, we don't got it this year. Right now, we all feel like, damn, there's a chance.
Yeah, definitely.